Hey guys, today I want to talk about something that I noticed. And just I'll find a way to explain it. And what I want to call it is what I call cavity trades. Cavity trades is just something that a word. I'm using the word cavity to describe what I'm paying attention to get the best strategy, best entry that I've seen. So cavity trades would be something like you see where the price or the let me zoom in some. You see these points here where you get these I guess I call them cavities because it's like a cavity in the sense that it's where the price is open, it gets its most let me see something. I'm gonna take this trade real quick over here. And then what I've been doing every day, I'll get a new this account has 25 bucks in it. This is my demo account. And I want my goal every day is to do my best to get it to a decent amount to perfect my trade. So here's a cavity trade that I took earlier, way up in here. So you see how it came up, and I use the body. I don't just use the wicks. I use this is my uh that's my entry point, right? So technically the next cavity trade will be here, but you do get where you start to get that break and retest. So it won't always be there. But if it does pull up to here, I will take this trade and put my stop loss above the previous high. So this is what I'm talking about cavity trades. Cavity trades are trades that are the tip of the iceberg of the the tip of the iceberg for the move. So exactly here's one that will happen if price goes up, right? If price decides to go up, which I believe it will because we end up, this is a possible uptrend. But I'm going to let now. This is what I use to decide whether or not a cavity trade is legit. I look at if there was any previous highs broken. So in this case, we did have a previous high that was broken. It came up to here. So if my thought process would be if it comes down to here, I'll enter for a buy, put my stops under here, put my stop loss under here. And that's really all there is. And you'll see how on here's one right here that was perfect. Perfect situation. You got this high and low, and then price takes off. Some people call them fair value gaps. I like to use the terms that work for me, the terms that I understand to help me see what I need to see to make the right trade. And so I know I'm getting a lot better, but I want to, like, for example, here's one, and it'd have been pretty hard to catch it because it wicked up around 6:45 that night. All right. And so here's another one. And now in order for you to have a cavity trade, you got to have price on both sides of this of the hollow point. All right. So here's one here. And then wherever the hollow is, if the hollow is beneath price and you sell once price come back to that point. If it's above price, which it was here, you buy when it comes back to that point. And you'll see a lot of that. Well, a lot of times you got those things have to be pointed out to you. So here's one right here where it's you have minimum drawdown, very, very minimal drawdown, and you're good to go. Here goes one here. I mean, minimum drawdown. Especially trading gold, you got to have tight stops. Well, this is something that I noticed I just needed a word to put it into so I can understand and be able to bring it to y'all. So I'm looking at these tight points here. What's this? That's that. Let's go here. What else we got? We got this low one here. This is really low. Nothing came back to that point. But then you had this one here. Price went beneath it, but it's still valid. You could have used that for entry and use the previous low for a stop loss. So like I said, these are what I'm calling cavity trades because they give you the ability to see this little small look in the price. This little thing here, this little right there, that's a cavity. What you do, you put your line at the body of that candle that's within the cavity. So this would be this little area here. Insert an object with a triangle shape, right? So this is the cavity, right? So that candle there is very important, all right? Boom. That's your entry for the trade for the sell. Like if the cavity is pointing, it's opening to the downside, you sell. If the cavity is opening to the upside, you buy. And that's especially for this one. This one would have been a great trade because there's a pullback to a previous level. Even this one right here was a cavity trade off these two cavities. And so I just like the terminology better. Um, and you get, like I said, you get the minimum drawdown. Now some cavities won't be full. Like this one was a cavity, but it wasn't full filled. So this would be good, and this side would be good enough. All right. So here's one. You have, and then you, like I said, how do you know which trade to take? Look at what price is doing. Look at where the cavity is opening up to. Right. So obviously for M or W, the M has the cavity opens to the downside. For the W, the cavity opens to the upside. Where's the open space that's created by the price? That's really what you're trading. And then you obviously look at higher highs and higher lows, lower highs, lower lows. That's obviously what you're doing. So here goes one. See this little cavity there. So that so you can have multiple cavities. You can have M's and W's. Most times you do have M's and W's, but most times you don't realize it. So this was a trade, and as you can see, I'm in profit here. Not that much, but it's still profit. Um, this for the sell, and then you had this one for a buy. So you had sell into a buy right here. Sold there, bought there. Price pushed up. You could have bought here and then put another entry here because you had this cavity that was made. So that's all I really want to say, guys, is that look at the cavities. Look at where these crevices are because a lot of money is being left. A lot of good trades are not being executed because we're not looking where they're putting the most of their attention to. We're looking for liquidity grabs and things like that. But look at the extremes of the pullbacks, the extremes of okay, like for example, this one right here, perfect example, right? So we got cavity made right there. But you see how long it took for them to hit that point? They purposely baited, and then wicked up 83 pips and then dropped, right? So I would rather take a trade inside of the most extreme point of return than to get in here and possibly uh, miss out on pips. This is a extra level of confidence because you have the assurance that this could be the extreme of the pullback. And as you can see, there's a perfect entry, very little drawdown, and it continues to go down. Continues to go down. All right. So that's all for today. I didn't want to make this video long, but just as I'm calling it a cavity trade strategy, and I'm looking for the crevices of price after a move. If it opens up, if it opens down like this, then I'm looking for sales. If it opens up like this, then I'm looking for buys. All right, you guys have a great day.